Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, talking geeky stuff with me. And today's video is going to be about Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. Just got back a few hours ago, like normal, always say this. It's still fresh in my mind. Yeah, it's just my thoughts. And before I start, as usual, spoiler alert, 3, 2, 1, you have been warned, spoiler alert. I try my best not to, but there will be definitely, of course. And as usual, again, let the trailer play while I talk about this. So, Mission Impossible. This is one of the most, in my opinion, this is one of my most anticipated films. Wanted to watch this year. I still think Tom Cruise is probably the last real movie star. I think he still has that star power. I think because not just because he's got that charisma and that kind of je ne sais quoi, so to speak. But when you watch his movies, especially the Mission Impossible, he gives it all. He gives it all. He doesn't phone it in 110%. Or, a lot of his own stunts. He has a lot of say in the project. You can see, it's his project, and it's become probably my favorite all-time movie franchise. Not franchise, series of movies. Makes sense? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. They're all been good movies. Of course, some are better than the others, but as an overall series of movies, all of them have been good. I particularly like this one and the last two. Christopher McQuarrie directed them all. Anyway, straight from the get-go, this film is very good. I would say, my favorite film of the year so far. I think it's been a mixed bag of films. You had some really good ones, you had some really rubbish ones. But this film, with a Mission Impossible movie, especially in the last three, it has the same kind of beats, story beats, action beats, but that you put all the kind of the same ingredients. Like it starts off with a incident, and then it goes into Ethan Hunt getting a message about a mission, and then he self-destructs, and then it kicks in. So it starts, just like everything else. You got Tom Cruise running, as usual, all his films. It's trademark running. You got his motorbike scene. You got a car chasing somewhere in Europe. Check. You got a nightclub scene. Check. And you got even like an inner city kind of running around on foot where he's getting stopped by kind of like a hitman trying to kill him and he's trying to save someone. So it's got all of that ingredients. But what I love is, like, even though it's got the same kind of action beats and the same kind of ingredients in those scenes, they are done differently. And I like the additional cast to Haley. Oh man, I forgot her surname. The one who plays Peggy Carter in Captain America. I like her introduction of her. She plays a thief. And one thing I love about this movie, they kept it pretty realistic in a certain way. What I mean by that is, as we all know in today's world, especially in the West in a way, and movies, how everybody thinks. I don't want to sound like a bigot or anything. That men and women are equal strengths, all that kind of stuff. What I love about this one, you can clearly see, no matter how tough, say, the female is, they can never outbeat a tough male. It's impossible. Because if the man is skilled in martial arts and combat, the woman will eventually lose, and no matter how good that is, and this shows it as well. But at the same time, it doesn't show the women being weak and inferior. It's just physiology, I suppose. I hope that makes sense. And when you see, there's a bit, like I said, the car chasing, when Tom Cruise, Haley's escaping from the police in Rome, and she drives. And it makes sense. She's not the best at driving, and she's not that kind of action hero. Rebecca Ferguson, she's trained, MI5, ex-MI5 operative, so she's been trained in car chases and all that stuff. And this is realistic because Haley couldn't drive. Well, she could drive, but not in a car chase scene. And that whole scene was quite funny as well. So I'm bouncing all around. But the main plot of this is actually really well, especially I think it really fits the time we're in. It's about AI going rogue. I think the whole Mission Impossible movies theme is going rogue. Tom Cruise and his team seem to kind of go rogue, and they always get the mission done, of course. But this is a part one to a part two movie. Speaking of part one, this movie is, I think it's the longest one out the whole series of us, 200, 165 minutes or something like that. So yeah, 2.5 hours over. But it doesn't seem long. I was actually wanted more. When it ended, I was like, oh, was that it? I got away for a whole year. Man, it was, yeah. So it's about AI. And the beginning bit, you see like a Russian submarine. I think the beginning bit where I think it annoys me a little bit, just a little bit. How a lot of American films, it starts off, they were speaking in Russian, and then you see the subtitles, and slowly you see like English creeps in, and it translates into English, and I start speaking English, and then the subtitle goes away. I think he was trying to be like they are technically speaking in Russian, but they just translate, speaking English for the audience. I would have loved to seen that scene as full Russian, full Russian speaking with subtitles. That's just my opinion. I think Hollywood needs to do more of that, really. Apart from that, there's nothing to nitpick. And then there's this bit where the two kind of like senior officers in the submarine put this key in to do something, and here's me thinking it's like a nuclear weapon or something like that. And then suddenly, the submarine sees another submarine, and then all hell breaks loose, and torpedoes fired, and you find that the other submarine was a false alarm, and what did the homing missiles, was those torpedoes, came back and destroyed its own submarine. And you find that this because of the AI, or they call it the entity. But this is so close to home because I mentioned before in my videos, I work for a big tech company, and we are investing a lot of money in AI. I personally don't use AI in my work that much. I try to avoid it. And of course, a little plug as well for AJ, who does the Y files. Definitely check his channel. He recently did a video about AI, and it's really good. Definitely watch his videos. I think his video is great. He's one of my favorite YouTube channels. The Y files. Definitely check that channel and the latest one about AI. And the scary thing about what he talks about is the AI that he mentioned are mostly public, like ChatGPT, OpenAI, even Bing AI are getting very self-aware. And can you imagine what the government technology? I remember we all know that government technology is way more advanced than the public technology. So this one is really kind of like, wow, it's quite close to home because I'm working in a tech company and we're heavily invested in AI. And this is probably pretty accurate as well as some of the things they can do. It's quite scary as well because, trust me, when you watch that YouTube channel I mentioned, how close we are to AI becoming self-aware, and then you never know, the doomsday clock like Terminator 2 and the Matrix might happen. Of course, I'm probably just being over exaggerating. Anyway, back to the movie. Back to Tom Cruise. Like I said, he's probably the last superstar, movie star, and you can see why. I mean, I don't know, when you see him on screen, it's just the charisma he shows, and when he's doing a stunt, it's him. I mean, of course, for an American actor, Western actor, he's top of the game. We all know who's the best, Jackie Chan. I mean, that guy is amazing, but that's a different story because that's in Hong Kong, China, where it's cheaper to do, the actors do their own stunts. In America, they have a different law. But for what Tom Cruise, and his age, what is he now, 59, 60 soon? He still looks great. He looks like he can get away for 40 or something like that. And yeah. And then you've got a bunch of bad guys. That bad guy, oh my God, I can't even pronounce his Garcia. I can't remember his name. Correct me if I'm wrong. I have a really bad memory of actors' names. He was great. And there's a lot of throwbacks to the first Mission Impossible, especially ending on the train. That really kind of throws back to the first movie. And of course, you had the head of IMF. Can't remember his name. He's in it. And yeah, speaking about the ending, one of my favorite endings. I think it's probably my favorite ending to Mission Impossible, especially the train bit. It's like it was so tense and well done as well. I mean, the way he we all seen the trailer where he rides a motorbike off the mountain and he lands on the train. But the way that they stopped the train from falling because the bad guy blew the bridge up, and they kind of cut the carts, so the engine part of the train falls down, but they couldn't brake in time, and Tom Cruise and Haley was running with the rest of the running up his. Every carriage was kind of falling. That scene was so intense and well done. The cinematography was amazing in that. So yeah, this is my favorite movie of the year so far. I'm looking forward to part 2. And so far, I think this is like I said, this is my favorite movie. And you got the John Wick as well, Mario up there. Looking forward to Oppenheimer, Christopher Nolan, one of my favorites. He never disappoints, so it could be either this film or Oppenheimer. Could be my 2 best movies of the year. I'd like to say thank you for watching, and please do subscribe for more Talking Geeky stuff. Until next time, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world. And please stay safe. Goodbye.